All right, let's jump right into it. Welcome to today's explainer. Look, we all want a fulfilling, successful life, right? But somehow, we repeatedly find ourselves making choices that completely derail our own progress. Today, we're exposing exactly why our brains naturally sabotage our long-term happiness in exchange for immediate comfort. And more importantly, we're going to talk about how you can fight back. We're diving deep into the fascinating dynamics of human behavior, drawing from the framework in the book 12 Steps to a Good Life. We're going to unpack the psychological mechanics behind this self-sabotage, and I'm going to equip you with a highly specific granular rule to completely hack your decision-making process. So here's a question for you. Why do we constantly choose the easy way out the second the pressure is on? You know the feeling. You set a goal, you feel incredibly motivated, you start out super strong. But the moment you hit a wall, a difficult conversation, a complex task, even just a sudden wave of being tired, poof, that motivation just evaporates. Why does that happen? Well, it's because your brain isn't actually optimized for your modern goals of self-fulfillment. Not at all. It's optimized for survival, which basically translates to conserving energy and seeking immediate safety. So when faced with difficulty, your brain is actively trying to pull you right back into your cozy comfort zone. And that brings us to a pretty harsh truth from our source material. People usually only change when it is more painful not to. It's wild, but we literally wait until reality crashes into us. We delay and delay until the pain of staying exactly the same becomes so unbearable that we finally decide to do something about it. We just rely on the school of hard knocks. But think about it. What if we didn't have to wait for a crisis? What if we could actually get ahead of this discomfort?
To do that, you have to understand what you're up against. Think of your conscious mind, the part of you making all these great plans, as just riding on the shoulders of an 800-pound gorilla. That gorilla is your unconscious mind, and it is hardwired to seek immediate comfort. You can set all the conscious goals you want. You can write them down in a nice journal, visualize them, build the perfect daily schedule, but absolutely nothing happens until that 800-pound gorilla says so. Your unconscious mind is fast, it's energy efficient, and it runs on deep habits. It's always trying to protect you from things like fear or frustration by steering you toward whatever is easiest. Trying to force it to do something uncomfortable using just raw willpower, that's an exhausting losing battle.
This setup creates an endless internal war. On one side, you have the smart you, the rational decision maker who wants to do the right thing, plan ahead, exercise, and build an awesome future. But on the other side, you've got the instant gratification monkey. And let me tell you, the monkey only cares about right now. It never worries about tomorrow, it just wants to dodge hard work and have fun immediately. The problem is, whenever you sit down to do something difficult, the monkey almost always tries to grab the steering wheel. Section 1. Uncovering your hidden payoffs. The secret rewards of bad habits. So why does the monkey almost always win? Why is it so incredibly hard to just do the things we already know we're supposed to do? Look, it's not because you're lazy, and it's definitely not a lack of character. It's actually because your bad habits are secretly working for you. Every single time you procrastinate, you get a payoff. Usually that's the temporary relief of avoiding fear, rejection, or just hard work. Our sources point out something fascinating. For everything you do, there is a payoff. And for everything you don't do, there's a payoff. Let's say you have a massive project due at work, and you avoid it by scrolling through your phone for an hour. Consciously, you're stressed, but unconsciously, your brain just got a massive payoff. It successfully escaped the anxiety of potentially failing at that project. That feeling of relief is the reward, and that reward guarantees you'll procrastinate again next time. This brings us to a crucial rule. Do not feed the PIG. That stands for personal instant gratification. Feeding the PIG gives you these quick little rewards, but it absolutely ruins you down the line because it traps you in your comfort zone. Our brains naturally overvalue short-term rewards and completely dismiss long-term consequences. When you feed the PIG, you are making a terrible trade. You're trading your future peace of mind and long-term success for a few fleeting minutes of cheap comfort right now. You are quite literally borrowing happiness from tomorrow just to pay for a distraction today. Section 2. The solution. Hacking the brain's flawed algorithm. Okay, so to stop feeding the PIG and actually tame that 800-pound gorilla, we already established that willpower won't cut it. Willpower is just a battery that drains all day, and once you're tired or hungry, it's gone. Instead of brute force, we need a mental shortcut, a specific, granular heuristic that completely bypasses your brain's flawed programming. Enter the uphill decision. This is a game changer. When you hit a crossroads and you don't know what to do, your instinct screams at you to take the path of least resistance. The uphill decision forces you to do the exact opposite. Here's the rule. When you are torn between two equally difficult choices, you must deliberately choose the one that feels more painful in the short term. For example, if you're agonizing over whether to have a tough conversation with a partner or just stay silent to keep the peace, the uphill decision is to speak up. Yes, the short-term pain is high, but it actively counters your brain's destructive bias and saves you from the massive long-term agony of built-up resentment. It really boils down to a fundamental truth of human behavior. Easy choices lead to a hard life, but hard choices lead to an easy life. By deliberately leaning into the short-term pain, the discomfort, the intense focus, the vulnerability, you're actually investing in your future self. You're building up resilience, creating lasting success, and fundamentally rewiring your brain so it stops being so terrified of difficulty. You stop crashing into reality and you start actively shaping it. Section 3. Mental Tools for Clarity. Supporting the uphill decision. Now, knowing you should make the hard choice is one thing, but actually spotting it when you're stressed out and in the thick of it, that's tough. The emotional fog makes the easy path look totally justifiable. So how do we cut through that fog? Well, our source material offers 3 fantastic cognitive tools to force some objective clarity. First up is Solomon's paradox. We are notoriously terrible at solving our own problems because we're way too emotionally invested. But if you imagine a close friend has your exact problem, suddenly the right advice is glaringly obvious. Try it. Next is regret minimization. Project yourself 10 months or 10 years into the future. Ask yourself, which choice will that future version of me wish I had made today? I guarantee it's almost never the comfortable one. And finally, the hesitation heuristic. If you are hesitating on a choice that involves your personal growth or your core values, yes is usually the correct uphill answer. Section 4, taking immediate action. From deciding to doing. So, you've made the choice. Great, but that's only half the battle. A decision isn't truly made until you take real-world action. You could sit in your room all day having these profound psychological breakthroughs, but if your behavior doesn't physically change, nothing happens. Delay is your absolute worst enemy here. Delay invites second-guessing, and it gives that instant gratification monkey the perfect window to convince you to just do it tomorrow. To execute, use these 3 steps. First, set implementation intentions. Simply put, if X happens, then I will do Y. Like, if I feel overwhelmed tomorrow morning, then I will take a 10-minute walk before checking my email. You're preloading the decision. Second, when you feel that urge to shrink back from an uphill decision, count backwards. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and physically move. Literally, move your body. It interrupts your brain's hesitation loop. Finally, make a micro-commitment. Don't commit to running 5 miles, just commit to putting your shoes on. Don't commit to finishing a whole report, just commit to writing a single sentence. Action builds immediate momentum. I'm going to leave you with this final thought to chew on today. Take a really hard look at your life right now and choose the uphill path today. Honestly, you probably already know exactly what that decision is. It's the one that makes your stomach drop just a little bit thinking about it. But remember, the perennial struggle of human existence isn't something you can just escape. You can only choose how you engage with it. You can either suffer the slow, grinding pain of regret, or you can embrace the sharp, productive pain of an uphill decision. The choice, as always, is entirely yours.